Hello, whoever's in the chat. I'm just hanging out tonight doing some random crime news. Excuse me. Seems like I've got to go back to my late night streaming since daytime streaming has not been quite working out for me. ISP doesn't seem to like the daytime. So I think the first thing I want to do is a dumb criminal story. Houston man who raps about robbing ATMs on YouTube arrested for robbing Tennessee ATM. I love dumb criminals. They always give you something to talk about.
Red means excitement. Red means culture. Red means indulging. Red means enjoyment. Red means
Are you serious? Come on now, Foster. Hey, PJ. I'm just hanging out tonight doing random crime news. And this is not what I thought it was. This is supposed to be about a dumb criminal. So I'm going to turn this one off and just let the article play. Get out of there. There we go.
Houston man who raps about robbing ATMs on YouTube, arrested for robbing Tennessee ATM. Lettish and Riley used the stage name Jug God and rapped about stealing from ATM machines outside Texas only to be arrested in Tennessee, reports said. In a case of art imitating life, a Houston YouTuber who rapped about robbing ATM machines was arrested this week in connection to robbing an ATM technician in Tennessee, according to reports. Lettish and Riley, 30, who goes by Jug God, recently shared a video on YouTube called Make It Home in which he raps about robbing money machines outside of Texas. He sang about having thousands of dollars in a vehicle and praying to come home, Fox Houston reported. He was arrested this week after an alleged heist, along with Darius Dugas, 27, Sashander Dugas, 32, and Christopher Alton, 27, after checking out of a motel in Dixon, Tennessee, according to Metropolitan Nashville Police Department. All four suspects are from Houston. Two of the suspects approached an ATM technician servicing a Bank of America machine on Monday from behind and told him not do anything stupid and hand over the money, police said. One of the getaway vehicles was a Hyundai Elantra that had been rented from Hertz, police said. Detectives eventually discovered the car and a Jeep parked at a Motel 6 later that day. They watched as the cash was loaded into the Jeep, authorities said. Authorities found bundles of cash, but have not disclosed how much. Two of the suspects were out of jail on felony bonds and have been arrested several times. Riley has a pending evading arrest in a motor vehicle charge, the Houston Police Officers Union said. Dugas is a habitual offender who is out on a pending charge of felon in possession of a firearm, the union said. All four suspects are expected to face federal charges, police said.
What kind of research you doing, PJ? I hope it's dumb criminal research because there's your first one right there. Oh, that sounds good. So let's see here. This should be like a picture of all of them, but it's cut off. I just opened it in a new tab, so this is like all you get. So apparently this is Sashandre Dugas here, and this must be Christopher Alton right here. And the two that are cut off are going to be Ladessian Riley and Darius Dugas. You just got to be real dumb. Oh, yeah, you just got to be real dumb. You robbing an ATM. Cool. I've got some missing persons lives lined up. I wanted to do it tonight, but I ended up having to GG, so I'm doing this little like pop-up live. I know, right? He probably wouldn't even got caught if he had not have been rapping about it. They be telling on their own self, like, you big dummy. As Fred Sanford used to say, you big dummy. So yeah, I just wanted to put something lighthearted out there. I always love dumb criminal stories. Like you tell on yourself, you get your own self caught. So next up, this story is kind of amazing. Load the page so the like video will play. You gotta love dumb criminals. Never run out of content with them. Okay, so this one is Memphis child calls mom while in stolen car being driven by suspect. The father was issued a citation for leaving the child unattended in the parking lot of a Memphis, Tennessee business. So let's see what's going on here. But it's amazing that a 4-year-old, because I think this kid is 4, was able to be aware enough and to be able to call their mom when they were in that kind of trouble. Like I think that's amazing. I think people should really teach their kids like skills like that
Memphis
because
child
they can
calls
go
mom
handy.
while in stolen car being driven by suspect. The father was issued a citation for leaving the child unattended in the parking lot of a Memphis, Tennessee business. A 4-year-old child in Memphis was found safe on Tuesday after his father's car was stolen with the minor still inside. The father of the 4-year-old child allegedly drove to Dodge Chicken in Memphis, Tennessee at around midnight on Tuesday and left the child
Here's a
inside the
song
car
about a
while
brawny
remaining
paper towel. When a little Van Gogh draws
An unknown man then took the car and drove off with the child still inside. During the period of time when the unknown man was in the car, the 4-year-old used his father's phone to call his mom, according to the report. He called and he kept telling me that some dude was driving his daddy's car, the mother said. The individual then snatched the phone away from the 4-year-old and said he was returning the child to his father, then allegedly hit the child in the head. The dude got on the phone and was like, somebody stole the car. I'm going to take him back to his daddy, she said. When asked by the mother what the carjacker looked like, he said that the individual was wearing a black mask and a blue shirt. He told me that the dude in the blue shirt had his daddy's car. I said, what else is he wearing? He said a black mask, she said. The person left the car and child about a mile away from Dodge Chicken, according to the report, and the boy began to honk the horn until police found him. The father was issued a citation for leaving the child unattended in the car.
That is a really smart 4-year-old. Like cognizant enough to call and start describing this person and the situation to the mom, and then having the just being able to like honk the horn to get attention, to think like that. I mean, that's amazing, and I'm so glad it didn't turn out worse. kind of made me mad though. Well, not kind of. It really pissed me off though when they said that he took the phone and then hit the baby in the head. Like you didn't have to do all that. You already stole a car. Hey, Red Rock, I haven't seen you in a while. How have you been? But yeah, that's just horrible, man. Like he didn't have to hit the kid. I hope they charge him with everything they can throw at him just for that. So, glad to hear that. You've been good. Glad to hear that. I've been working on different things on the channel, trying to, get it more consistent and get it set up a little better. I got a new intro too, but I can't seem to get it play right. I think I gotta re-edit it. It like skips, but it's nice. It's a song that my son sings. I know, right? Now here is an outrageous story, and I actually read this story. Um, they just published it today, but if this is the same story, then I read this one last week. And actually, if this is a different story, then it's really going to be horrible because then you've got two kids doing this. Yes, fine tuning. Fine tuning. Says Michigan gas station held up at gunpoint by a 12-year-old. A Michigan police officer said the boy would not reveal his motivations for the armed robbery. Oh, yeah, this is the same story. This one I'm just going to read. A gas station in southwestern Michigan was held up at gunpoint by a 12-year-old last week, according to surveillance footage released by police. The juvenile, who has not been identified, walked into a Marathon gas station in Hartford and waited off to the side before standing in the checkout line. He then approached the clerk and pulled out a gun, telling her to put the money in the bag. The clerk, in disbelief, asked the boy if he's serious, prompting him to fire his gun to the side. The clerk then grabs money from the safe and hands it to the boy. Here, get out, bye, she says. The clerk called the police and relayed what had happened. Surveillance footage shows an officer arriving at the scene and hugging the visibly shaken clerk. Police later arrested the boy and recovered the money and the gun. He's currently in custody at a juvenile detention center in Allegan County and charged with armed robbery, discharge of a firearm in a building, and 3 counts of assault with a deadly weapon. So they charged him for everybody that was in the store at the time. Then. Officer Matthew Kuzma told Fox television stations that he interviewed the boy who, quote, was willing to give me all the details from start to finish, but would not tell me why he did what he did, unquote. And here's the thing, right? In the original article that I read, they said that this 12-year-old was at school and asked another friend, another classmate, which of the like gas stations, because apparently there are several gas stations right there near the school. And he asked this other student which store he thought had the least security that would be easiest to rob. And so the other student thought he was playing and made a suggestion, and then he ended up robbing the store. Like the other student didn't know he had a gun or whatever, and didn't take it serious when he said it. So that's just, and the thing that's getting me is that he was willing to tell all the details except the why. So then I have to wonder, like, what's really going on? Was it some kind of home situation? Was he thinking, okay, if I do this, then they'll take? Was he trying to get away from a home situation, or was he trying to fix a home situation? Says it takes parents and the village to screw up as badly as we have. We just have to do better for our kids. You're absolutely right. But like I said, I can't imagine. I can't quite figure out. But then again, there's not really enough information. Was he robbing the store to fix a situation at home? Like, maybe his mom lost her or parent lost their job, couldn't pay, they're getting evicted or something, blah, blah, blah. And he's desperate and doing what he thought he needed to do to try to help. Or was he trying to get away from a home situation? Like it's so bad that he intentionally went out and pulled a crime that he knew would get him locked up for a while to get away from whatever was going on at home. Because for a kid to do something like that and be willing to give up all the details except for why they did it, something motivated that boy for real, for real. And then obviously he didn't want to hurt anybody because he didn't shoot anybody. He shot off to the side. He could have easily shot the clerk. He could have easily shot one of the other people that was standing there. I think he really was just trying to scare the person into, giving them the money. And then he didn't make any type of effort to like get away, go somewhere else, hop on a Greyhound or go across town on the city bus or anything else. Apparently he just went home, knowing that he had discussed this with someone else about what he was going to do. So they're going to identify you and find you. So yeah, it's kind of a crazy situation. Okay, so moving on to the next one. Yeah, could be. Maybe he wanted a video game. I mean, it's not black or white. There's gray areas in between. I mean, there could always be something else going on. He could have just wanted to go get a video game. He could have just wanted to, I don't know, act like the rappers and act like he had a whole bunch of money or something. Ain't no telling. You right though. It could have been anything. He could indeed just be the bad kid, the bad seed. Okay. Philadelphia shooting. Two suspects arrested on murder charges. Three people were killed and 11 were wounded in downtown Philadelphia shooting shortly before midnight. I hope we do. I'm keeping an eye out for that one. I actually read that story to begin with last week, so I've been kind of like keeping my eyes open for some type of update or whatever. But that story that I just read, that news came out on Fox yesterday, technically yesterday now because it's after midnight, and it has basically the same information that was in the original article that I read. So I will keep an eye out on that one though because I want to know too. Like I really want to know how that turns out. Okay, we'll scroll through and listen to and look at the pictures while we listen to them read.
Philadelphia mass shooting, 2 suspects arrested on murder charges. 3 people were killed and 11 were wounded in the downtown Philadelphia shooting shortly before midnight. 2 suspects accused of firing guns into a crowd following a fight in downtown Philadelphia on Saturday were arrested on murder charges in Richmond, Virginia, on Thursday morning. The shooting, which broke out in the city's entertainment district shortly before midnight, left 3 people dead and 11 others wounded. Quater Dukes Hill, 18, was charged with murder in the shooting death of Alexis Quinn, who authorities say was an innocent bystander. Najee Whittington, who was 17 years old at the time of the shooting but turned 18 just days ago, was charged with murder in the death of 22-year-old Christopher Manners, who was also an innocent victim. 2 other individuals have been arrested and charged for their alleged involvement in a fight and shootout that preceded the incident involving Dukes Hill and Whittington. Officials have previously said that 3 other men got into a fight, then pulled out guns and started firing. Gregory Jackson, 34, was killed. Jackson's friend, Rashan Varian, 34, was charged with attempted murder, aggravated assault, and other charges. Another man, Corinne Garner, was charged with 2 counts each of aggravated assault and aggravated assault on law enforcement officers. Officials said that Dukes Hill and Whittington did not know the other men who got into a fight and started indiscriminately firing into the crowd. They pull out their guns. I don't know what they could be thinking, but they fired and they hit 2 innocent people, Deputy Police Commissioner Ben Naish said Thursday. We believe that all the people responsible for the violence at this point are in custody.
This one I don't really have a whole lot to say about. I mean, I just threw it in here because it seems like these last couple of weeks have just been mass shooting week or something, man. I mean, they're shooting up schools, they're shooting up hospitals, they're shooting up the hangout on the weekend, they're shooting up manufacturing companies. Like, what is really going on that everybody is suddenly so trigger happy? Like, I mean, is Chicago like spreading out all over the US or something? It's crazy. No disrespect to Chicago, but I always think about Chicago when I think about like shootings and stuff because for a while there it seemed like every time I would look at the news or check the news feeds, I would see shooting in Chicago, shooting in Chicago, shooting in Chicago. And it was like, wow, what are they doing up there? And now it's like the whole country, like, oh my God, what are these people doing? Why is everybody so ready to shoot? You know? And it's crazy because like I remember like when I was a teenager, a shooting was a rare event. Like it made the news not because like today it makes the news and everybody's like, "Oh my god, another one again." But when I was a teenager, it was like, "Oh my god, somebody got shot." Like it was really news because it didn't happen like that. People fought, you know, duke it out, go on about your business, come back again. I remember I worked at this one nightclub and every freaking weekend, every Thursday, every Saturday, every Wednesday, there was going to be a fight. But very rarely did anyone shoot. They would throw tables, they would throw chairs, they would throw punches, but everybody lived to come back the next night or next week and do it all over again. Hey, Bubba's. Hey, my baby. You sleepy now? Are you sleepy now? So, yeah, I mean, I don't even understand what's going on with this latest generation. It is weird because I make myself feel so old when I start talking like that because I'm not even middle aged yet. Honestly, I don't think I'm middle aged yet. But it seems like everything is so different than how it is now. You know, just 20 years ago, just 20 years ago, I was in my 20s and it seems like everything is so different. The way people handle their emotions, the way they handle disputes. Red Rock says mass shootings or thug fights that have been happening just fit a new narrative. Yeah, I mean, you know what, Red Rock? I don't think I'm old, but I feel old. But in a way, I feel good about that because the way things are going now, it seems like getting old is not going to be a thing soon. Like people are dying so young and for no reason. They're dying for stupid stuff. You know, they're dying for ridiculous reasons. At least back in the day, it seemed like if somebody was doing a shooting, there was like a something. There was a reason that you could look at it and be like, "Wow, I don't know. I'd have been pissed off too. I might not have shot him, but I'd have been real mad. You know, somebody stole thousands of dollars, or hurt someone really bad or something. Now it's like, you step on somebody's shoe and you might get shot. You accidentally brush against somebody walking down the sidewalk and you might get shot. It's stupid. Hell, you could just express an opinion that doesn't line up with what the other person says and what the other person believes, and you might get shot. Bubba's, hold on now. What are you doing? You want to say hey? Say hey. You gonna sing your ABCs for him? You just want your juice? Okay, next one. Florida man, of course. Y'all know Florida man be doing the absolute most, and yes, Florida man did the absolute most again. He ain't standing down. Matter of fact, might be standing up. So I'm not gonna read this out loud. She's only 2, so she doesn't know, but still, I ain't gonna read it out loud. You see for yourself what it says, right? So I'm gonna play this one.
Florida man arrested after teen records him masturbating in front of her at bus stop. Luis Enrique Rodriguez was charged with exposure of sexual organs and denied bond. A Florida man was arrested Wednesday after driving up to a teenage girl at a bus stop and masturbating after exposing himself in broad daylight. The 16-year-old victim was waiting at the bus stop for her school bus in Pembroke Pines before the suspect disturbingly revealed his private parts and began to grope himself in front of her. It was about 8 to 15 when I was waiting at my bus stop, she told Local 10. This car pulls into the neighborhood where the bus stop is located next to, and this guy is looking very suspicious. Upon the disturbing encounter, the teen took out her cell phone and began to record the suspect, which prompted him to get in his car and drive off. The video was able to capture Luis Enrique Rodriguez's tinted, black 2012 Toyota Camry as well as his license plate. Pembroke Pines Police Captain Adam Feiner regarded the victim's action as instrumental to the investigation. For somebody to masturbate in public in full view in broad daylight in front of a child is beyond offensive, said Feiner. What I can say to our community members is this individual who's responsible for this crime preyed upon a child, preyed upon somebody who's most vulnerable and most innocent, which makes this crime even more horrific. Residents of the Pembroke community commended the 16-year-old for her quick thinking, despite the startling encounter. I mean, that was really smart to think on her feet like that. That was really smart, one resident told WSVN. That's proof, said another resident. That's all the cops need to stop the guy, get everything they need, all the proof, everything. So I think she did an amazing job, said a third resident. The 25-year-old suspect was charged with exposure of sexual organs and was denied bond.
Okay, so yeah, that one was crazy. You gonna take over the show? Well, if you're gonna take over the show, you gotta sing your ABCs. A B C D. No. Okay, well you can't take over the show then. Yeah, forced accountability. There's nothing wrong with your eyes. But what you were saying about the pandemic is so true because I mean, stir crazy is a thing. Stir crazy really is a thing, and people have been locked in, shut in, cut off from doing things that they're normally used to doing, activities. I know during the pandemic, like really. Oh, that's funny. She's just laughing. Okay, go that way. No. Okay. They think that's so cute. You are cute though. She's a sweetheart. This is my shadow. This is my buddy. But yeah, I know personally my life changed a lot because I'm just fixing to put you over here, Bubba's. You sit right here. Like we used to go fishing and just out doing stuff and out to eat and exploring around the city, and then suddenly it's like, okay, sit in the house. And so when you're sitting in the house just constantly, like there's only so much TV you can watch. There's only so much music you can listen to, so much cooking you can do, until it's like, God, when is this over? And I know nerves tend to get frayed, when you're kind of just confined and cooped up and can't really get the space that you need when you need it. So I can imagine. Yeah, I'm sure the pandemic takes some blame and just stop. Don't do that. Don't do that. You can sing all you want to though. You keep singing. So I think what I'm gonna do is until my little co-host goes to sleep, which hopefully will be soon. Of course, she might outlast me though. So she messed around and took a nap. I looked up, she had to hop in my bed, threw the blanket up around her, up over her shoulders, tucked her own self in, and was knocked out. And that was about 5 or 6 o'clock. So she might have a little go left in her. This night might be an all night flight. Hey, stop doing that. Don't do that. Please don't do that. Chewing on a plastic straw out of her juice. She's a weirdo just like her Gigi. No, no. But yeah, until she goes to sleep, I think I'm probably gonna just get off here and maybe come back later or come back tomorrow. But thanks for joining me for my late night crime surfing pop-up live. So I actually kind of like the pace of this, and I might do this again. I might do this more often. Just random crime in the middle of the night. Just chill. Baby, don't touch. I'm gonna. All right, guys. Thanks for joining me and my little co-host. Say bye, Bubby. Say bye. Okay. No, 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 no. All right. Good night, folks.